Andrew, do you know who Chase Young is?
Yeah, of course.
No. My point is, I don't either.
Before I said that Cade Cunningham would never be an All-Star, and I just wanted to double down on that. I just.
We're back
What's
with
going on with
another.
Mike's video?
I know.
Playoffs? We talk about playoffs? The last week of the NFL season has rolled through. Got lots to talk about, man. Let's go. What up, Jam Squad? I'm MK. I'm your host here with Tesla Mays, John Little Bobo, and Uncle Drew somewhere in the back cave. What's going on, fellas? How you doing tonight?
What's going on, man?
Oh, don't talk at once. That's
I'm just more shocked Uncle Drew's hitting his New Year's resolution of being on our podcast every week on time.
oh snap! Oh snap! Shots fired already.
guys.
Here we
What's
go.
up?
Wait, my bad.
What's
Okay,
up?
sorry. Let me rephrase that. Andrew, I'm very proud of you for being here on our podcast tonight.
Hey, that's very
Congrats
positive.
Yeah, congrats to Uncle Drew for fulfilling his resolution, and to Tesla Mace for for fulfilling his.
We figured out how to do that brick background. So
Hey,
kudos,
I love
Mike.
it.
John taught me. John and you helped me out, so I appreciate that.
I love it. I love it. Hey, let's run through these games real quick, and then we'll start talking playoffs. The Ravens got the convincing win over the Browns, 35-10. And wrapping up them Saturday games, the Bengals get squeaked by with a 19-17 win over the Steelers. Sunday games, the Panthers get the 44-38 win over the Falcons. Commanders win 23-19 over the Cowboys. The Bears win. That sounds weird coming out of my mouth. The Bears beat the Packers 24-22. Texans beat the Titans 23-14. Colts end up beating the Jaguars 26-23. The Patriots win 26-16 over the Bills. More on the Patriots here in a bit. Let's see. The Eagles get the 23-13 win over the Giants. Bucks get the win 27-17 or 27-19 over the Saints. Broncos win convincingly 38-0 over the Chiefs, although more on that later. And the Chargers get the win over the Raiders 34-20. Seahawks Rams. Seahawks get the win 30-25. The Jets win 32-20 over the Dolphins. Niners fall to the Cardinals 47-24. Did not see that coming. And the Lions get the convincing win over the Vikings, which was probably the game of the week, 31-9. Interesting week of football. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yes.
Pretty much. So with the Bengals winning their game on Saturday, they had the potential of making the playoffs. Correct? They were still on that hunt. What they needed was the Chiefs to win. Correct? What was that?
They needed the Chiefs and the Dolphins, I think, to win, right?
Yeah.
Or was it
No,
the Jets?
Jets.
Yeah, the Jets
Well,
had to
that's
win.
right.
It was a tall task. You know, with the Chiefs not playing anybody and the Jets being the Jets.
Now, here's my take. Here's my take. Obviously, you're the Chiefs. You want to keep your guys healthy, right? Here's how you play the game as a head coach. Who is your biggest threat as a Kansas City Chiefs? Mike? In the AFC,
Cincinnati
who's your
Bengals.
biggest threat? The Bengals?
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals, right? So why not? Hey, we're not only not gonna play our starters. We're gonna make sure that we're gonna lose this game. So guess who doesn't get into the playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely the right move. I mean, absolutely. Two quarterbacks have beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. So you just made sure that unless Tom Brady goes and joins some other team in the playoffs, that quarterback's going to have to come out of the woodworks and beat you to make it. So good on them. I did have a little bit of a maybe like, maybe you let the Bengals win or you beat them and then let the Bengals in to take out Buffalo in week 1, right? Potentially. But I don't think they want to face that challenge, period. So I don't think Kansas City's worried about Buffalo until Buffalo beats them. So.
And I think earlier this season, wasn't it like a 2-point game? Bengals almost beat the Chiefs for would have been their third loss, I guess, of the season. But I mean, I guess there was a lot of close games for the Chiefs in the beginning of the season. But I mean, Cincinnati put up a good fight and was actually winning that game. Kind of blew it at the end. Story of the season for them.
So we're talking how much of a genius Andy Reid is and how much he just completely tanked that game to get the Cincinnati out of it. On the completely opposite spectrum, the Patriots fire their first-year head coach, Gerard Mayo. You guys have any insight behind that? I have my thoughts. What do you think, John?
My question is, do we think he even had a chance? Like, I don't know that he was the right person for the job to begin with. I think he did well, and I know it's kind of messed up, but I think he did well for what he was given. 4 wins is pretty hard for a first-time coach, and he has a lot of pieces to put. I mean, the Patriots have a lot of gaps there, right? There's a lot of pieces that need to get put together. So, I would have thought if you were going to give him the reins, he should have at least been given 3 years to try to put something together. Expecting the high expectations that the Patriots have and a one-and-done deal is really hard, I would think, for anybody. But now it makes the organization a little less desirable because there's still that many gaps that you have to fill.
Mike, what do you think?
So I have 2 thoughts on this. Number one, something's going on with Drake May that we don't know about, and he didn't like Mayo, or I don't know why he was fired so abruptly. Like John said, I don't think it's right, but I actually think it's more along the lines of number 2. I have a feeling that they are going to hire Mike Vrabel as their coach, and if you ask me, firing Mayo and hiring Vrabel is the right move. Now, why they didn't do it last year, I don't know. But if that's the case, I think that makes total sense. And unfortunately for Gerard Mayo, it may have messed up his coaching career in general, but probably not a bad move by the Patriots who are trying to rebuild around Mike Vrabel. So, I mean, he did a good job taking Tennessee from nothing to, a playoff team. So, those are my 2 thoughts. If that second thing happens, it all makes sense. And if the second thing doesn't happen, then I think it's got to be the first thing, because it didn't make sense initially to me. I also think that Vrabel doing the Jets interview was, the reason that they did that. They're like, oh, we want this guy. He's just, the Jets are going to get him. And I don't think the Jets will. I think it was just a power move on him to be able to feel desired by the Patriots.
Drew, Bobo, you got any insight?
I mean, I was thinking that there was probably I thought there might be some well, I mean, the Pats kind of blew it when they won They just gave up their their number one pick.
That's
I
my
thought
take.
I thought maybe like the organization was kind of pissed. Like, seriously, you're going to come in here and win this game, and now we miss out on the first round pick. Like, I'm sure there was internal conversations, and he probably wanted to just get the win. I mean, as any coach would, but like, there's a certain point where it's like you just gave up a very valuable asset for a meaningless win. So I could see the organization might be a little upset with him if there was kind of conversations and he wasn't playing ball. Now, I actually agree with the concept of just winning as many as you can. I don't like the whole idea of losing on purpose, but worked for the Chiefs right now this last week. So
You had the number one pick, the number one overall pick solidified if you would have just lost that last game.
Yeah, but
And then
okay.
you went from
I'm sorry, I don't agree with that simply because who is the number one pick this year? I mean,
well,
off
they
the
got
top
a
of your
lot of
guys'
holes to
head,
fill.
huh?
Travis Hunter.
They got,
Travis
regardless if you
who cares?
regardless if you don't have
You don't have that guy. Like, there's not a generational talent to merit getting the number one pick.
It
you
doesn't matter.
wouldn't take that number one overall and trade down for
Yeah.
more picks.
If it's not desirable to you, it's not desirable to anyone else. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I think that
You don't think there's
I-
players in college right now that are like everyone knows who the there's going to be a certain number one pick or at least there's a couple guys out there that they're looking at, and there's going to be a franchise that's willing to trade up to get that number one pick for whatever they want. I mean, if you got holes to fill, it's just a better asset than the fourth pick is my point.
it is in a year where it's a deep or not a deep draft and there's a generational talent or quote unquote generational talent. I'm just saying this year there isn't that person in my opinion.
Which I would
Travis
agree.
Hunter is a generational talent for college, but he's not playing both ways in the pros. I mean, I would be really shocked if he is. And even then,
You don't get paid.
I
you
mean,
don't get paid that
one
way.
could argue: is he a top 5 defensive player? Is he a top 5 wide receiver? Probably not. I mean, I'm not spending my number one pick on him.
So here's my question
Probably
then.
no receiver, though.
With the draft, we'll compare last year's draft to this year's draft. Last year's draft was pretty deep quarterback wise. This year is probably not. You don't think somebody would want to trade up to get a Cam Ward who doesn't have a quarterback?
No, I don't think Cam Ward's that guy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's an NFL QB, but I don't think he's the Caleb Williams. I mean,
but do you think he'd like drop? Here's
put it this way, what are the Raiders? What pick do the Raiders have?
They don't got to pick till 6.
I think the Raiders will get either Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward.
You think they'll fall that far?
I do.
Hmm.
I mean, who's gonna get a quarterback? We know the Patriots aren't, right? Giants probably will. Who else is down there? Panthers are ahead of you guys, or behind you guys. Do you have the draft order right there?
Looking for it right now. This one's old because it still has Patriots as number 1. I'll pull it up because I'm pretty sure.
I don't think that that's it. I don't think that that's it personally.
The Patriots shouldn't go for a quarterback, but they just might because is Drake May the guy? I mean, I don't know. And then at some point, does it matter who you put in at quarterback when you don't have receivers? Like you gotta have someone's have to get some sort of offensive talent on that team.
All right,
that's why 1 versus 3 doesn't matter in my opinion for them because there's so many holes on that team. So you're firing the coach because of that, I just don't. I don't buy that. I mean, it's a good, theory, but I think I don't know.
But
here's your draft order.
Go ahead.
You got Tennessee number 1, probably looking for a quarterback. Browns number 2, I would say they would be. I don't think they're putting their money in Jameson. Browns number 2, Giants number 3, and then Patriots number 4.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jags 5, who probably aren't going past Trevor Lawrence. who they just got rid of what's his name, Doug Peterson. So they're going to
But
be looking for a new coach.
I think if you took the number 1 pick and you traded it for some draft picks below, I mean, can you get a Genty from Boise State and a receiver? Like that makes the Patriots a little better. Maybe Ramondre is still your starter for the first season. Okay, fine. But Gentry's not a bad number 2, right? And we don't know until he gets to the pros, but I mean, his numbers say that he shouldn't be a bad number 2. And you get another receiver, or get a receiver on top of that, and you have something going. I'm just saying.
Well, okay. So I'm going to play devil's advocate to that because that's what I do. But I mean, Genty, we saw what happened when he went against the real defense, and it wasn't the Mountain West. He did not do anything. He didn't get the yardage needed to set the record. They shut him down. He's got a lot of miles on him, and we already know that this running back, like no one's going to waste a pick on the running back that high at this point in the draft. He may go, bottom 15, bottom 16 of the first round. Maybe. I'd be shocked if he's a top 10 pick. I hear what you're saying, and I hear that. I just don't know this year how many teams are trying to trade up to get the number 1 pick. I think they could sell that number 4 pick just as valuable as that number 1 pick. That's all I'm saying. So to fire your coach because he refused to lose, like he would have came out and said it. He would have came out. If I'm a coach and I just got fired by this organization because I won the game, that's out there the moment it left, right? Like he's saying it. He's calling them out. This is a crappy organization. They fire me because I disobeyed them. Like it's coming out, and it didn't. So I don't know. I'm telling you, I think it's a Vrabel thing. I think it's and they do have a lot of work, but I don't buy that they fired him for that reason.
Fair enough.
I mean, again, just based on who is your projected mock draft.
It might not be the sole reason, but I don't know. I think it could play as part of the whenever you're evaluating somebody and you're seeing what they've done for your organization, you're going to think of a lot of different reasons. So it's not just going to be one thing. I'm sure maybe it was a relationship with Drake May. Lots of different reasons it could have been. Maybe he didn't just get along in general with the front office, but losing out on the number 1 pick over a meaningless win, I think could add to that overall like evaluation of the coach. Like, come on, what's going on here? Was that really the best thing for our organization? So, but I don't know. I think we'll see if they do hire, this other coach. Then that would make a lot of sense. They have somebody that they think is better, that's going to be better overall for the organization. Go for it. It makes a lot of sense that way. So if they're already thinking of that, they already have some kind of conversation going, then that makes a lot of sense. And that's probably the reason, but I guess we'll see.
Definitely makes for some interesting off-season talk for sure. Hopefully Vrabel does get that job. I mean, he's already been in-house, right? Already taken a team to the playoffs. I was shocked he didn't get a different head coaching job, to be honest with you, with how many head coaching openings were available.
Yeah. And that's where the issue is. They, I don't know if maybe it was a successor to Belichick. Like, you're a lame duck coach, unfortunately. I mean, you got to follow this guy's footsteps. It's very similar to what's going on in Alabama with Nick Saban. Like, I feel like he is in a very difficult position. Like, you're not Nick Saban, and it's going to be very hard to step into those shoes, regardless of who you are. It's just not easy. So I don't know. I think Vrabel will be there, and if it is, to me, that'll clear up what happened. But I mean, maybe you guys are right. I don't know. Who started that game? Did Drake May didn't start? Did he?
I don't think so.
I know Milton was in that game.
Yeah,
and
Milton
maybe that leads credence to your guys' belief that why the heck are you starting Milton and not trying to develop Drake May a little bit further in the last game of the season. But I don't know. I mean, again, they were also playing a bit. It's like they beat this tough Bills team, right? Bills didn't had Mitch Trubisky at quarterback and me at running back. I
think Milton played the whole game and Drake May played one play.
So that's weird. I don't know if did he get injured or something? Like, that's kind of weird.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, couldn't tell you.
That is weird. That is very weird. Let's see. Let's talk playoffs. So you had some interesting matchups coming up. Minnesota is traveling to LA. So weird to say that a 14 win team is going on the road. They're playing the Rams. Who are you guys taking there?
Wait, did it? Let's talk about that because I think a lot of people here thought Minnesota was gonna win.
Dude, that was
I think I've been calling them frauds all year, and you guys been laughing at me because they only had 2 losses.
Oh, come on. They played
and now they're gonna
Detroit,
be out of the
arguably
playoffs in
the
the first
best
round.
team
I mean,
in
they're
the
14
NFC.
and 3.
And they're gonna be out in the first round of the playoffs.
You think so?
those-
You think they're going to lose to the Rams?
Well, the Rams beat them pretty heavily the first time, didn't they? And when I say heavily, I'm not talking about the score. I'm just talking about yardage, right? Like Rams
They outplayed
gave it to
them.
them the first time.
I mean, listen, Sam Darnold, the clock struck 12 and he turned back into a pumpkin, I mean, like I think we saw that game that he was not the guy. He was not the guy. You don't pay him, you move on with McCarthy. This is not a Detroit's defense that's good, right? This Detroit team outscores people and they put up 9 points in the biggest game of his career. Like, he missed throws after throw after throw. he saw blitz coming and he didn't adjust. He didn't audible out. He didn't do hot routes. I mean, there was a lot to what happened last night that reminded you who Sam Darnold was on the Jets, right?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate to you, Mike. So
Okay.
this season has been by far one of the weirdest seasons we've seen in the NFL. If we rewind the tape, I'm pretty sure. Do you remember when we said that Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, was put in the best situation for a rookie quarterback, and that he was going to succeed? That 4-12 record.
you guys said that. I didn't say that. But go on.
Only pulling out 4 wins didn't bode well there.
Yeah.
I know there were a lot of critics that said that acquiring Aaron Rodgers made the Jets a playoff team or a Super Bowl contender. And that didn't bode. That didn't marinate very well either. On the flip side, we also talked about how Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold were garbage quarterbacks. And we realized quickly that playing for the Browns, Jets, or Carolina is not a good situation for any quarterback. So,
Most quarterbacks.
Although I do agree with you, he's probably not the best quarterback. I do think that his head coach does put him in good situations, like any head coach should. He puts him in good situations. I mean, think about when he had Dobbs, right? He had Dobbs for like 2 weeks and was like, okay, like, our guy's injured. I need you to come in. Well, I'm going to try to put you in the best situation possible. And I think he won for him for 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks that he played for him, didn't he?
Yeah. So I guess I'm just of the opinion that if you're the Vikings, you're not committing money to this guy and you're sticking with the plan of developing JJ. Right? I mean, that's just.
Oh, I would agree. I would agree with that.
If he won that game, if they made a playoff run, I think, you seriously consider re-signing the guy and postponing, JJ for the future. But
So
I think it cost him.
So Mike thinks they need to develop JJ. The rest of you guys, do you think they continue to develop JJ, pay Sam Darnold, or draft somebody new? John?
Well, I mean, are my options pay him the utmost amount? Because I don't think they do that. But I think it's not out of the realm to say you could pay him like $40 million for a 2-year contract, right? Forgive me, $80 million, 2 years, which equates to 40 a year, and that allows a bridge for JJ. And Darnold should still be able to carry the team for a year or two.
Drew?
I mean, they went 14 and 3, I think you give Darnold a shot, man. I mean, even so, they played the Rams last time. They lost 30-20. It's one of their 2 losses for the season. But just saying that out loud, like, oh, that's one of their 3 losses. Sorry, one of their 3 losses was to the Rams. But Sam Darnold had a good game. He went like 18 for 25, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I just think overall he's had a great season. It's hard to argue that. I mean, he has great receivers. We have to say that too. But
Oh yeah, we do have to say that.
you gotta say that for Mike's.
Not as
Mike's
good as
sake.
T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, though, but yeah, they're very good.
Dude, Jefferson. I mean, come on, dude. He's like an MVP candidate
It's
every
their
year.
defense
Anyways,
that sucks on the Bengals.
I'm just making sure you acknowledge your receivers. That quarterback play is sometimes related to receiver play.
well,
I'm glad
I
you
mean,
mentioned that.
it's related. I mean, you can have a middle of the road quarterback with an amazing offensive line, and he'll do great things. Let's be like, and good receivers, he'll do great things.
Is that guy named Trevor Lawrence?
Well, Trevor Lawrence didn't have. I mean, he's only
I just
gonna
want to
play
see your
5
face
games
right there.
anyways.
Said it all, Drew. That's all I wanted to see with your
He's
face.
only
right
going to play
there.
5 games anyways, so I mean,
Brobo, what are you
no,
doing?
but I
That's
think
all I
I
needed,
agree
Drew.
with John. I think you pay him 2 seasons. Sounds like a great idea. You pay him for 2 seasons. He gets paid. He's happy. And then he gets his chance to prove himself to keep playing for them if he can win out and do something, win some playoff games while they're developing their younger quarterback. I mean, that sounds like a great plan. Like,
It sounds like
Sam
a great
Darnold-
plan, but why would Sam Darnold take that if he could get 4 years of $30 million committed by someone else?
Yeah.
well, if he
someone
can,
like-
then take it. More power to
Yeah,
him.
you're not wrong. But I mean, but I thought this
he
was
will.
a situation.
He will get offered that, in my opinion.
From
But I
who?
thought
Well,
the
there'll be a
situation-
couple quarterbacks out on the market for sure.
If
that wasn't asked. That wasn't asked though. The ask
Yeah.
was, what would the Vikings do? That was the ask. So you didn't
Brobo,
say, hey,
you're
what do I think
the owner of the
Darnold?
Vikings. Brobo, you're the owner of the Vikings. What do you end up doing? You paying Darnold? You letting him test
I'll
the free
give-
market?
Give Donald incentives. So improve well, you get this. Okay, while improving while improving JJ. So JJ's back up, learning, getting experience, while Donald's still leading, but he has to get incentives in order to get paid more. I mean, he's not the greatest quarterback, but that's what they have right now.
I think Uncle Drew is consoling all those Trevor Lawrence fans right now. I mean, they've had experience, right, of giving big money to quarterbacks who've done good for 1 year, and that's backfired quite a few times. So I don't. How much do I believe in JJ? I'm not sure.
So let me ask this: does it make more sense if you're the Vikings to tag him for a year versus giving him a 2-year contract?
Ooh.
Would you tag him and say, "Hey, give me a prove it year again"?
It's not a prove it year. It's a let JJ develop year. I don't think he's that guy. Like, I don't think he's the quarterback of the future of Vikings. They have the guy who they drafted 4 in the draft. I mean, they went with that guy, and it's. I think they tag him. I didn't know you could tag him after 1 year, but if they can, I would. I think he signed a 1-year deal, and I think he proved he's an NFL starting quarterback. Okay, but again, throwing him on the Jacksonville Jaguars does not make the Jacksonville Jaguars any better than they are right now, in my opinion.
Well, he'll play the whole season, so.
I mean, he might, but it depends on the offense. It depends if he had Justin Jefferson there. I agree he would, because he could throw the ball and let the guy go and get it, right? You're not throwing to Christian Kirk, who's also injured half the season. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to this situation. Good for him for playing himself into a contract, but I don't see a future with him in the Vikings. I mean, like I said, it was a cool story. It was nice of his development. It was nice of the team, but no one's picking the Vikings to win the Super Bowl. No one's picking the Vikings. They may get past the Rams. They're a 2-point favorite, I think, 2.5 point favorite. But the reality is, no one's picking them to go on and beat any other team in the NFC, let alone Green Bay. I mean, maybe Tampa would be their only option, but they won't. Yeah.
You're saying that you think Rams are winning. That's your pick.
No, I don't know that for sure. I just, you like a week ago, you guys were talking about how this team's the best team in the NFL, and proving doubters wrong, and they're not even the top 4 favorite in their own conference.
I don't think we ever said they were the best team. We said they're having a great season.
You may have to watch last week's episode. You said they are the best team in the NFC. They're gonna get the number 1 seed.
Do we have an episode last
They're gonna. Yeah, like I was there. I don't know if you sitting next to Mike.
I'm gonna go rewatch
or
the
not,
tape,
because Mike
guys.
joined you for some reason because he had to even it out. We're like, well, you don't have to even it out. Remember that, John? Like,
so full disclosure, if you go on the Fantasy Picks app or whatever, I picked Detroit to win. But on the pod, I did say that the Vikings were going to win last week. But in all sincerity, I think Detroit's been the best team this season. They've been blowing everybody out. It feels like just killing teams, and then there's the Chiefs where you can't. Until they lose, I mean, I don't know if you can bet against them. So
it's interesting that no one says anything about the Eagles, and
Hey,
I know.
just
there he is,
FYI,
right there.
Oscar
There he
is
just
correct.
said.
We said that they were the most improved and shocking team, not the best. Thank you,
boy,
Oscar. Thank you,
Appreciate
Oscar.
that, Oscar.
I was just gonna say how the Eagles have a
dedicated
chance
boy
to
right
win it
there.
all, Oscar, but I will go ahead and mute myself right now. So you messed up there. I was getting ready to say how good the Eagles have been and how they're under the radar, and now I will not say that.
Okay, I want to know who you guys are taking. Rams or Vikings? Mike, go ahead.
Vikings. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, I'll take Rams.
Drew.
this one's actually really hard.
Wait.
For me.
By who are you taking? He means both in the pod and in the game, not so
Yeah,
you could play either way.
This one's actually hard for me, man, because I want to root for LA to win. So I'm actually gonna take the Rams.
Yeah.
Ooh, all right. Happy New Year, Oscar.
Even though I've been picking the Vikings all season, but I'm gonna take the Rams.
Mike, you went Vikings, right? No, you went Rams.
I went Rams, but I
Rams?
actually
Rams?
I actually think the Vikings win the game, but I'm not gonna say that.
Bro, who you got?
I want to see the Rams win.
Rams. Oh. I think I'm taking the Rams, but I don't think it has nothing to do with either offenses. I just think the Rams
You guys
have
go
better
to
defense.
one Rams game and all of a sudden they've swayed you. That is ridiculous, you guys.
Well,
Ridiculous.
hold on. So we had this crazy opportunity. Got hit up by a former NFL
wait.
player.
Let John get his pick in real quick.
He did.
Oh, it's already in. I was the first one. I said Vikings. I'm cool to stand by myself.
Oh, you
That's
said
fine.
Vikings?
Yeah.
I must have glitched.
I actually think the Vikings are a better team, but I
Mike
just
said
trust.
that too.
I think Stafford, now we're talking about Darnold again. Like, Stafford's proven himself more than Darnold has. Period. Stafford has a Super Bowl. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just gonna trust that experience in a playoff game. But anyways, go ahead.
Interesting story that Sean McVay's 0-3 when he sits his starters the week before the playoff game, but 2-0 when he plays them. So we'll see, because they had a lot of momentum. Like, if you would ask me last week, Rams are dangerous out in the playoffs. I mean, they're looking really good. They got the defensive rookie of the year potentially on their team. Versus, they look good, but that week off, I'm curious to see. I know Drew talked about that last week, but with this Rams team and that momentum, I'm really curious if he kind of stubbed his own toe in that game. So just a thought.
Funko Factory
Good
went
choice.
Vikings. You got an agreement there. We got Washington versus the Bucks.
Oh no, you were telling your story, Mike. I didn't mean to stop you. Sorry.
Oh, my bad. Mike and I had an amazing opportunity. Got hit up by a former NFL player to to go watch the Rams Seahawks game at SoFi, and shout out to Vince Weathersby. Ended up playing tailback at University of Washington and played a couple of years with the Rams. We're hoping to get him on the podcast. Vince, if you're watching, man, shout out to you. Thank you so much for that opportunity, man. We hope to get you on here. He did hit me up later on today and said that he's going to be jumping on. So I know it's not tonight. He probably will jump on next week. Hope that goes through. Let's see. We got the Commanders, Bucks. The other sucky quarterback, right? Baker. Come on, Baker. We went from one sucky quarterback to another. Who you guys taking? Drew, who are you taking? Washington or Tampa?
I'm gonna be taking Washington, man. I'm rooting for them to win this one. So
Ooh.
it's emotional. It's not anything like logical or anything like that. I just been rooting for them in all season. So
Yeah. Bobo?
Let's go with the Bucks.
John?
I will take the logical pick and go with the Bucks.
Mike?
So much
Well,
logic right there.
I'm going with the over. Neither one of these teams play any defense, so lots of points. The Bucks defense looked trash with the Saints. I mean, you have to win this game, and you let Spencer Rattler come out and ball out against you. I mean, they deserved every reason to lose that game. Classy move by letting Mike Evans get one last pass for 6 yards and tie Jerry Rice's record. It took him an 18th game, but he did it. So, or an 18th week, but although he was injured this year. So, but I'm gonna go Bucks. Bucks. I think their offense is better, and than Washington. And hard for a rookie to go on the road and win a playoff game in his first year.
Oh, and on the road. Whatever. I'm still taking Washington. Let's go Green Bay and Philly. Oscar, I know you're going to be rooting for them Eagles real hard this week. Mike, who you taking? Packers, Eagles. This is going to be a good game.
I know. I'm gonna go. Christian Watson getting injured is a big loss for the Packers. And I think Eagles are the better team. But they have not had Jalen Hurts for 2 weeks, so I'm curious to see how that works out. But I do think Eagles have the better defense. Packers probably have the better offense, but playoff football, having to go to Philadelphia and win in Philadelphia is very tough. So I'm gonna take the Eagles.
John?
Didn't Love get hurt?
Yeah,
Yes.
he hit his elbow.
Yeah,
Funny bone.
I don't know about that one. That's your throwing hand. So I'll take the Eagles.
I think,
Drew?
for the record, I think he could have came back and played that game, but they just, because they already had everything played.
They freaked out.
Well, after seeing Watson go out,
good.
I don't blame him.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Drew?
I'll take the Eagles.
It's interesting. This all season I hadn't believed in the Eagles, but I think they've proved themselves. Great season, so I'm taking the Eagles. I think they win this for sure.
Bro?
Yeah, the Eagles, they have a really good balance offense. If they could whatchamacallit? Start off with the run. Passing game could be there.
I think the Eagles win this. And I don't even think it's going to be close. So congratulations, Oscar, for getting a unanimous decision on this Eagles game. Let's head to the AFC. We got the Chargers versus Houston. Chargers, Houston. Bro, who you taking?
Chargers.
Drew?
I'm going to take Houston, man. It's been a rough season, though, but I'm taking Houston.
John?
I'm taking Ezekiel Elliott and the Chargers.
Hey, freshly signed and probably well fed. Zeke. Sign him with the Chargers. Mike, who you taking?
Chargers going on the road, winning that game. I think Harbaugh's got him ready for that.
Oh yeah,
Agreed.
especially Zeke's not going to be the starter.
Yeah, Zeke ain't playing.
They're favorites
If,
by 2.5.
I know.
I think Harbaugh will have them planned out. Like they'll have them pretty well prepared. Let's see. We got Steelers, Ravens. This one's going to be an interesting game. Like for whatever reason, the Ravens always have trouble with the Steelers. And I don't know why.
I
don't know
think
if it's just
Baltimore
'cause-
beat them like 3 weeks ago, 34-17
Yes,
in
they did.
Baltimore. So,
But that was a must win for Lamar. Like historically, if I remember correctly, he just doesn't do well when he's facing the Steelers. Hold on, let me. Because in November,
yeah, they lost the first matchup and he didn't do well.
and he didn't play well. And I don't know
Man,
why.
talk about
Does
the
Tomlin,
definition of mediocrity, though. Like that's the Steelers. Like, I mean, all year we've been saying they're not good, and then they go and surprise everyone off this killer start, but then they've lost 4 straight. I mean,
That's what I was about to say. They lost 4 straight. That's
And-
not the right momentum for going into the playoffs.
now on the flip side, Lamar Jackson only has 2 playoff wins in his career. So,
Number 3 is coming up.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Derrick Henry's the difference in this game. He's healthy. He looks good.
Agreed.
And, I mean, and to be honest, I think this will be ugly. I think this will be Russell Wilson, the reason he left Denver, right? Like, you may have a Justin Fields sighting out there, and quite frankly, they probably should, because they should run some quarterback runs and design sneaks in there and stuff, and just mix up the game plan. Their only chance is to keep this low scoring.
who are you taking?
Baltimore.
John?
So with Baltimore having Zay Flowers is questionable, but I still think he'll make it. Pretty healthy receiving core on top of that. They have a nice number 2, number 3, couple of tight ends that can catch the ball. I don't see them losing, so I'll take the Ravens.
Drew?
I'm just like floored, man. Mike's picking Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, so it's Baltimore's going to win this for sure. The Steelers, though, kudos to them. They had a great season. Way over them, and the Vikings really kind of shocked people, I think, or like really overperformed.
Looking back on Lamar's career, I think this is only the second or third time he's beaten Pittsburgh over his entire career. Now, I'm not going to count. There's a couple of wins on there that it doesn't look like he played, or he only threw one pass or whatever. But man, I don't know. It's hard to go against Tomlin.
Yeah,
I think Tomlin's a phenomenal coach. Definitely a player's coach, but I think he gets them to play at a higher level than what they are used to. Which is why they're always in the playoffs. Whether they're 8-8, one win over 500, which they usually are, one win over 500 and still make the playoffs, and at least win week 1. I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
Wow.
Ooh.
I'm going Steelers. And that, I mean, I'm going historically, right? Like I'm going off of, for whatever reason, Baltimore forgets to run the ball in the playoffs. Like I know everybody thinks, oh well, they got Derrick Henry now. Okay, but they had the number one rushing attack in football last year, and they still didn't run. Regardless if they have Derrick Henry or not, they still had the number one rushing attack, and they didn't run the ball at all. It was the same thing with Detroit and forgetting, oh, we don't know how to run the ball anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, you had a guy named Patrick Mahomes on the other side of that coin. I mean, you're not really worried about Russell Wilson. I'm just saying, just knowing you're playing the Chiefs and Mahomes put something in your head that you got to outscore these guys, and you got to have, and it's just gonna come down to points, and I don't know, I that's bold. That's a bold pick. So
It is a bold pick, and I'm sticking to it. Who hasn't
I,
picked yet? Bro, you pick
if you
yet?
want to buy me dinner when it happens, and when it doesn't happen, I'll gladly accept.
I'm on it. Bro, who you picking?
I'm picking the Ravens.
I'm lone wolfing this. Oh,
All right, here we go, Mike. I'll take you
go ahead.
to Fleming's if Pittsburgh wins.
I don't even
the
know where
game.
Fleming's is, but it sounds
Okay,
good.
it's a steakhouse. All right,
It's good. It's good.
It's an expensive steakhouse. I'll take you to Fleming's if Pittsburgh wins, but if the Ravens win, you gotta take me to Chili's.
You got it.
That's a nice
All right.
handicap right there.
That's your handicap right there.
I got it.
All right,
You got it.
He
All
wants
right,
the
we're
all
in.
you can eat appetizers.
Heck yeah.
All the chicken nuggets he can get.
That's hilarious. All right, you got Broncos, Bills. Let's wrap this up. Broncos, Bills. Who's winning this game? Bro, who you got?
Let's go with the Bills.
True?
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills too. Question: when does the MVP get picked?
Not till the week before the Super Bowl, I don't think. Or
So I know it's like
NFC
a regular
championship.
I
during
know it's
the
a regular.
championship.
I know it's a regular season award, but largely people say Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, they're going to be the top picks. If one of them loses this first game, like that's going to play a factor, right? Like, even though it's supposed to be the regular season, like I have a hard time. I think you should have a hard time picking one of them as MVPs if they can't get past these games.
Listen, I'm only going to say this
points.
once. Joe Burrow should be the MVP of the league this year.
He really should.
He
really
should be
should.
the MVP of the league this year.
If
I
he's not
agree with that.
if he's not in top 3 in the votes, I'm going to be shocked. Come
he won't
on.
get it. He won't get it, but he should be the MVP this year.
Drew, this should be your time right now to like rip off your shirt and have your Joe Burrow jersey right underneath and just show
It's
it to
hanging in my
everybody.
closet, guys. Macaulay Culkin jersey's in the closet. But no, I actually agree with that. And I watched an interview with him, and a reporter asked him, and he said, "I'll win. I will win an MVP. It's not this season though. They're not going to pick me." And they're like, "Why is that?" He's like, "Because I didn't win my division." He's like, "Usually you got to win your division, and I
You
didn't."
didn't finish second in your division either.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm not winning it this year. But they're like, don't you think you deserve it? And he's just like, no, you got to win your division. So, yeah, but
that's
especially
stupid.
the second
I mean,
half of the season.
That's not what an MVP is. It's most valuable player, not most valuable team. And unfortunately, I mean, we've all argued this till it doesn't matter. But the reality is one could argue Lamar Jackson deserves to be the MVP, and would arguably be right because he had his career year better than his last 2 MVPs. I just don't know that the NFL wants to give it to him 3 years in a row. Unfortunately, I think they want to give it to Josh Allen. I don't think they should. I didn't think his year was as good as previous years for Josh Allen even. The real MVP to me this year is Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen in that order for me. And Buffalo's going to win this game.
Just the numbers wise, with since we're talking about Lamar Jackson, you know what his TD to interception ratio is? Anyone? Shout it out. No,
You told me, so I'm not gonna.
I
I'm
know
not
he
gonna-
did well this season.
they have 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions all year. 4. That's an incredible ratio. Now, caveat to that, I know nobody's talking about it, but Joe Burrow's TD ratio was 43 to 9.
Mhm.
Still passed for, 4,900 yards is a lot of yards, bro. It's a lot of yards to throw it to. Helps when you have Jamar Chase.
Yeah. And Higgins played really
been-
well last couple weeks, man.
Would have been more if Chase wasn't dumping balls game 1, but neither here
Yeah.
nor there.
I don't
Right?
want to talk about that.
I think, man. But I just think Burrow, like, more. It's kind of weird to say this because Lamar Jackson does so much, but like Burrows was the entire Bengals team. It felt like keeping them in games all season. But yeah,
The Niners
didn't
just
Lamar
Niners
Jackson
just
have like 800 rushing yards too, or something like that? So
900, yeah. Lamar.
900.
900 rushing
It'll be
yards.
crazy when he gets over 1,000 yards rushing.
What's Josh Allen? What's Josh Allen's numbers, Mike? QB to interception ratio.
Here, I'll tell you.
I do know he has more rushing touchdowns than Lamar, which is kind of surprising to me. But
Josh Allen's pretty
stats.
mobile, man. I'm impressed when I see him out there.
he's not Lamar Jackson. Video game speed. I mean,
Hold
Probably
on,
puts a
I
bigger
got to
hit
go
on
pretty
people,
far down the list because he shows up at like number 14 for passing yards.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen. Let's see. He is. Dude, that's regular season. Projected last 5 games. Come on. Just give me this year. I don't care about anything else. ESPN, you're slow.
Okay, John, who
Uh,
you picking? John, who you picking? Buffalo or Denver?
I mean, I want Broncos to win. I can't stand the Bills, but I do want the Bills to beat the Chiefs. So I guess I want the Bills to move forward. I don't really care either way on this one.
All right, he's 28-6.
And 6 rushing or 7 rushing touchdowns, I think, too.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. Josh, no, actually, he has 12 rushing touchdowns.
So, I mean, you've got 40 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Lamar has 44 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. I mean, I just think Josh Allen not playing week 18, hurt his MVP case, which is another reason why I give it to Lamar. But at the same time, I mean, he did better for his team. You know, they lose Stephon Diggs, they lose all their receivers, and everyone's like, "Oh, the Bills are washed up," and he still got the number 2 seed locked up fairly early. If it wasn't for the Chiefs, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one. I hear the argument both sides, but I personally think Burrow deserves it, then Lamar, and then Josh Allen. I think the league will give it to Josh Allen, but that would be my take.
That's wild. That's so wild. Most touchdowns thrown this year, most passing yards. You want to know how many times he's gotten sacked this year?
Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. When I say a lot, he's ranked number 4, or he's tied 4th on the list.
Yeah, that's
He was
Caleb
sacked.
one?
Caleb is number 1 with 68 sacks, bro. Caleb is number 1. Mr.
No wonder,
Hey, punter, you can take a seat because you won't be punting much this season. Got
All I
sacked
wanted to
68
say.
times this year, bro. That's wild.
Ouch.
That's crazy.
That is wild. Then CJ Stroud sacked 52 times.
really.
Geno Smith sacked 50. Sam Darnold was sacked 48 times, tied with Joe Burrow 48 times.
Ouch.
But I mean, if your percentage goes up, right? Because you're passing more often. you got no running game, you're like, okay, here we go.
That's true.
You're
Everyone's playing the pass.
well, like Chicago's playing from behind most games, so
Yeah.
guess
Extra
what?
team off on the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling my guys, pin your ears back, just go, full go. It's all green. Let's go, baby.
What's crazy is Lamar Jackson also had a QB rating of 120 for the average for the whole season, man.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So crazy. And it should be a an amazing playoff for sure. For those still watching, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at Jam Pack Podcasts. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Jam Pack. We love talking sports. If you want to be a guest speaker on our show, please let us know. Send us a comment. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. Click on that notification button to view us live. We're live every Monday night, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram and Facebook at Jam Pack Podcast. Happy New Year, fella. Happy New Year's. We've been doing this for a year now. You guys realize that?
Hey,
One
happy
whole year?
anniversary.
I love it.
Pretty cool,
Absolutely love it. From all of us at Jam Packed, until next week, make sure you guys stay safe out there. Be kind to one another, and we'll see you guys next week. Later, fellas.
See you guys.